This is Joshua Hart here for Seconds Out. Delighted today to be joined by cruiserweight prospect Aloys Junior ahead of his first title fight next Saturday at York Hall. Aloys, thank you for your time today. It's a pleasure. And how is everything?
Everything's well. I just finished sparring. Pretty much now I'm just chilling, recovering for my next session. So everything's well.
Fair enough. We'll dive straight into things. Last time out for yourself back in April. It was a tough opponent at York Hall again, but you were able to get 4 rounds under your belt before getting the stoppage. How happy are you with your performance that night?
Well, going through the tactics, I was calm, cool, collected, and yeah, I was composed, man. I took my time. I didn't rush into anything. I wasn't looking for the stoppage. It just came.
Fair enough. And obviously, under Ben Davison, without giving away the game plan too much, what tactics were you running through in that last fight that can help set you up for the next fight?
Do you know what it is? I wouldn't say the tactics are the same because the different scenarios, your different scenarios, you need to use different things, innit? Like your different scenarios, different tools. Like my last opponent is nowhere, nothing like my last opponent. My next opponent, pardon me. So every single camp's different. You're always learning something new.
And you mentioned camp being different. How has it changed this time? Obviously, preparing for a title fight against an undefeated opponent. How has training camp changed preparing for a title fight?
Not too much. I think it's more rounds. I, I also employed a new strength and conditioning coach, which is phenomenal. Um, I'd say I'm just more dedicated to my craft. The more the stakes go higher, the more dedication and more application I put towards my sport.
And how has preparation gone ahead of next Saturday night?
I love it. Oh, lovely juggling. I just finished 12 rounds of sparring. Feeling good. I feel like I could have done 15 rounds. Goodness me. But I feel good. I feel strong. I feel sharp. I feel ready.
And you mentioned sparring. Have you been able to get any sparring with any notable heavyweights, people who can bring you a lot of experience?
I've been sparring with, in the start of my camp, I was sparring with, what is his name? I sadly can't remember his name. He fought Vladimir Klitschko, the American. He even fought Joe Joyce. What is his name? I can't remember his name, sadly. Um, he was a veteran. Who else did I spar? Chevron Clark, some amateurs. I've sparred some good names, decent names.
And you mentioned obviously sparring Siobhan Clark, obviously British cruiserweight champion. How were those rounds with Siobhan?
Good rounds. I don't reveal too much, but they're good rounds.
And what experience can you take away from sparring someone like Siobhan while early into his professional career? Obviously, an Olympian, a very big amateur pedigree. Whereas yourself, obviously, there's the big story. Obviously, you making your professional debut on 24 hours notice. So it's very different, contrasting careers. What experience can you take from sparring with someone like Chev?
Working on new things, seeing where my mistakes are, and just like, making the adjustments. That's the greatest. Like again, I see boxing like chess. Like okay, I did this. This didn't work out for me. Okay, change that, and then see if it works. If it doesn't work, then go back to the drawing boards.
See, you mentioned chess. That was a question I do have wrote down. Obviously, I've seen the video of you talking about saying that you're the best chess player in the Queensbury stable. What is it about chess and playing chess that you can take into not necessarily but your training, but in the ring as well on fight night?
Mindset, mindset. I see chess like because at the end of the day, chess is just a game where you just make very good decisions. It's critical thinking. Same thing in boxing. I see it like that. Depending if you see it like that, you see it like that. But for me, myself, I see it as boxing. Okay, he does this, I do this. He does this, I do that. Bing, bang, bosh, checkmate. He's on the floor, you know?
And how long have you been playing chess for? Obviously, it's a very unique thing. No, but we've seen, I'm sure, someone like Alexander Usyk is someone who's been playing chess as well. How long have you been playing for?
I would consistent. I played chess when I was in year six, but I didn't play consistently. Like I just played it like I was taught how to play chess. And then I started picking it up last year. I'll say last year. Last year I started to pick it up a bit more. And then like I fell back in love with the sport or with the game.
And then obviously since playing it, obviously you mentioned obviously playing it in year six and everything, but since you started doing it consistently, how much improvement have you seen in your mindset?
Oh, immense because every if you lose a game, it's your fault. Everything is your fault. It's all based on your decision, so which allows you to take accountability much more. Um, because if you lose, it's your fault. It's no one else's fault. It's not the referee's fault. It's not the time's fault. So it just teaches you how to take accountability and also teaches you to be sharp.
And then obviously next Saturday you take on an undefeated opponent. When did you realize that you're at the right stage of your career now to be stepping up the levels, going in there, facing an undefeated opponent for your first title?
Good question. I would say my coaches would know I'm ready. Me myself, in my heart, my mind, in my spirit, I believe I'm ready. Like I'm not. I'm hungry. Like these guys are not as hungry as me. They're not on my best day. They can't touch me. Like they couldn't even tie my shoelaces. So that's how I feel.
Fair enough. And then just moving away from yourself and looking at some of the big topics around your weight division. We've seen rumours that Chris Billam-Smith, WBO champion, will be taking on Jai Opetaia, but there's been a bit of criticism around his name, and labels of him supposedly avoiding Opetaia. What do you make of seeing stories like that?
Um, Again, like you just got to. Opetaia is a dangerous cruiserweight, but I have no words for it. To be fair with you, I have no words for it. If someone doesn't want to fight, then that's on them. But they're probably gonna fight one day. It's something that's gonna happen.
When you see things like, obviously for yourself, you mentioned obviously, you believe in that you're the best and that no one could tie your shoelaces. Obviously, not everyone's going to have the same mindset as yourself. But do you question sometimes how much people really want it when you see things like that popping up?
Yeah,
Fair
I feel
enough.
like the best should challenge the best. Um, Once you're at that level, you're at that level, innit? You're world class level. So why not test yourself? Who's the best? Who's that guy? That's how I see things. But for instance, it may take longer. Maybe he needs 12 weeks to prepare for it. Maybe he said like there's many things going into it. Maybe there's a lot of things going into it. Maybe he needs to work on his southpaw game. Like there's a lot to it.
And then if that fight is to get made, would you say it's fair to say that a fight between those two would determine the number one in the division?
Second,
If a fight with Chris Billam-Smith and Jai Opetaia is to get made, would you say it's a fair statement that a fight between those two would determine the number one cruiserweight in the division right now?
yes, at the moment of time.
At the time, fair enough. And how would you see that fight playing out between the two?
I'll take Jai Opetaia. I think he wins. I think Marius Briedis is like has similarities to Chris Billam that I think that Jai Opetaia could exploit.
Fair enough. And then we've seen rumours about Alexander Usyk potentially stepping back down to cruiserweight after the Fury rematch. If a fight between Alexander Usyk and Jai Opetaia was to get made, how would you see that fight going?
Alexander Usyk. I think Usyk is much more experienced. I think he understands the sport much more than Opetaia. I think Opetaia loses that.
Would you say Alexander Usyk is someone that you look up to? Obviously, as a cruiserweight, Alexander Usyk could probably go down as one of the best cruiserweights of all time. As a young, up-and-coming cruiserweight, is he someone that you look up to?
Yeah, I respect him. I have all sorts of respect for him. He's done so much for the sport. A smaller man coming up in weight, challenging against the biggest title in boxing, the heavyweight title, and winning it. You got to give the man his props. But again, like I can't wait till it's my time.
Fair enough. And obviously, we can see how dedicated you are to the sport. When you look at fighters, of like who's a fighter, obviously either past or present, that you look up to?
Canelo Alvarez, um, a massive fighter that actually I trained with, Anderson Joshua. His dedication, he's a massive aspect why I'm in the sport. Alongside with Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather, the list goes on and on with the greats.
You say Anthony Joshua was one of the reasons that you're in the sport. Obviously, looking at where you are now and being one of his stablemates, what does that say about yourself? And when you reflect on your journey so far, how proud does that make you?
very proud, but there's so much more to do, you know, like to be fair, it's surreal. Like, it is surreal. Um, but it shows your hard work pays off and just keep going, innit? Keep going, keep pushing.
So when you first obviously heard about Anthony Joshua joining the gym, would you say it was almost like a pinch yourself moment? Like, wow, he's really here.
Yes, but I knew the moment I came in, my coach is world class. Like he could train anybody.
100%, 100%. Obviously we mentioned Anthony Joshua. He's got a fight date. He takes on Daniel Dubois at Wembley Stadium. How do you see that fight going in your eyes? Obviously, you'll know a little bit more. Obviously, I'm sure you've seen little bits of AJ in training.
I personally think that Joshua stops the war. It's my personal opinion, but obviously each to their. Yeah, that's how I see it going.
Do you see it going late, or do you see Anthony catching him early?
Mid, late.
Have you had any opportunity to train with AJ during his training camp so far?
Yeah, yeah. I've seen his training. Training very, very hard. He's very, very dedicated man to the sport.
Fair enough. And how much would you say he's improved since joining up with Ben Davison?
Significantly, like I'm sure the public, the masses can see. They see as they see the old AJ. Well, I see the new AJ. I think the more intelligent AJ. His IQ's definitely increased, and he's just expressing himself more.
Would you say Ben's not necessarily brought back the old AJ, but he's brought in a more tactical version of AJ, where we're seeing him build his way into using his big shots and his biggest strengths?
As I said, like I wouldn't say the old. I'd say the more intelligent, the more yeah. He's expressing himself much more. He's using his tactics better.
And then what makes Ben Davison so different to other coaches in the sport?
His IQ. His IQ is very aware and he's aware of body language, when to do something, when not to do something. Um, I'm just honing my skills like day in, day out, trying to be better and better and better. And yeah, he's a great coach.
Aloys,
So wily and etc.
Aloys, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for your time and best of luck next Saturday in your first title fight.
Thank you.